Welcome to the Chop Seat, where Braves country meets the big leagues. Your host Vic is here to break down everything from truest part to the top of the standings across the league. From walk-offs to wild trades, this is your seat for everything baseball, but a heavy dose of chop. So grab your glove and settle in, because the Chop Seat is open.
Welcome to the Chop Seat, your favorite place for Braves, baseball, and the rest of the league. I'm your host, Vic, and today is Friday, September 26th. The last weekend of regular season baseball starts today. I think we got a game underway already. It's the Chicago Cubs against, who is it against? The St. Louis Cardinals classic rivalry there. That's already underway. Last time I checked, it was an 11-1 lead for the Chicago Cubs. They're about to hit win number 90 of the season for them. But anyways, listen, final weekend of baseball. We got a few races to keep an eye on. Some spots still have not been clinched, which is very exciting. We're going to take a look. This is not as exciting, but we're going to take a look at the previous Braves series, as we usually do, and we're going to preview the upcoming Braves series. But that's not the exciting part. Like as I mentioned, we got some playoff spots that are not yet taken care of. We're going to see who's going to take over those spots over the weekend. Listen, man, especially intrigues me the most is the National League wild card. You got 3 teams in the hunt. And it'll be and also you got the American League East that hasn't been wrapped up yet. You got the American League Central that hasn't been wrapped up as well. It will be the ideal situation for us fans, at least us fans that are not rooting for any of those teams, is that all those teams are tied up going into Sunday's final game and going into game 162. If all those teams are tied up, dude, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be insane. We're getting a treat. We would be getting a treat. Even the way it is right now, we're still getting a treat. But imagine if it comes down to the last game of the season. It's definitely going to be an exciting one if it comes down to that. But anyways, listen, let's head into our first segment so we can talk a little bit about some Braves baseball.
It's time for Tomahawk Takes.
It's time for Tomahawk Takes, and Tomahawk Takes is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code CHOPSY20 for $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. Playoff baseball is underway starting on Tuesday. If you've never been to a playoff game, trust me, you gotta hit up a playoff game. You got to hit up a baseball playoff game. I was there in 2021, Atlanta Braves against the Houston Astros World Series. I'm telling you, every single pitch counts. You could feel the tension every single pitch. I'm telling you right now. Use code CHOPSY20 to save yourself $20 off any playoff baseball tickets that you can find on SeatGeek. You want to watch some football, you're a football fan. NFL season's already on the way. About to be week 4, I think. Use code CHOPSY20 to save $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. So the previous series we just had was against the Washington Nationals. The Nationals were into town facing the red-hot Atlanta Braves, the hottest team in baseball. They had 8 wins in a row coming into this series, and they kept it going. They win game number 1, 11-5 victory. That made it a 9-game win streak for the Atlanta Braves. Of course, they get hot at the end. Of course, they're going to give us a little treat, something to cheer for. For the Nationals, it was Mackenzie Gore on the mound. He went 2 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs. All those earned 4 walks and 3 strikeouts. He took the L in this one. He's 5-15 now for the year with a 4.17 ERA. It was Chris Sale on the mound for the Braves. He goes 5 innings, 3 hits, 5 runs. All those earned 2 walks and 6 Ks, but he was able to get the win. 6-5 record for him now with a 2.63 ERA. Jose Suarez came in at the end. He got a 3-inning save for this one. And listen, we had some guys hitting some shots in this one, okay? We had some guys hitting some rockets. Ronald Acuna Jr., he hits homer number 19 of the season for him. Drake Baldwin, he goes 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. He had a double. Marcell Ozuna, the big bear, he goes 3 for 4 with an RBI. Michael Harris, 3 for 5 with a double, 3 ribbies driven in. The Braves were up 7-0 in the bottom of the third. Listen, it was game over. Give us that W. We get the streak going live. It was alive. The streak was alive. The offense was alive. This is what we've been missing. You can see throughout that win streak that the Braves had, the bats were not playing around. They kept the line moving. Ironic, though, Matt Olson, he was 0 for 6 in this game with 4 strikeouts. And this was after winning National League Player of the Week. I'm telling you, it's ironic. You're crushing it, and then all of a sudden, you can't hit the ball at all. That's the reality of baseball. That's how crazy baseball is. The Braves won again, like I said, this one. They kept the win streak going, nine wins in a row, 11-5 victory here. But we had a bad loss, very bad loss. Ozzie Albies, he left the game. He had a left hamate bone fracture. He's going to be out, obviously, for the rest of the season. He's going to get some surgery there or something. I don't know what the healing process is there, but he is out again for the remainder of the season. And it's like, we can't catch a break, man. We cannot catch a break. We keep getting injuries left and right. It is what it is. I don't know what they're going to have to do down there in Atlanta. I don't know. Guys are going to have to do some pregame stuff or, take certain vitamins. I don't know what's going on down there, but the injuries have got to stop, at least for next year. 2026, we need a full healthy squad. Everyone needs to be on the diamond for next year. But anyways, that's the way game 1 of the series went. Game 2, it was a closer game, but it was a 3-2 victory for the Atlanta Braves. For the Nationals, it was Brad Lord, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. All those earned, 1 walk, 4 Ks. He took the loss in this one. He's now 5-9 with a 4.12 ERA. For the Braves, it was Harrison Waldrop, my boy, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. That was earned, 4 walks, 5 Ks. He takes the win in this one, 6-1 record now with a 2.88 ERA. Joel Payamps, he came into the game. He had winning pitch, 2 strikeouts. He was just picked up on waivers, as you remember in the last episode. Good to see him there going a clean inning, 2 strikeouts. Raisel Iglesias, he came in. He got save number 28, 2 saves shy of the 30 mark. We're going to see if he's able to get it over the weekend. This was win number 10 in a row for the Braves. The longest win streak in a minute. We were trying to get it to 14, but as you'll see in a little bit, they were not able to keep it going to get to 14. But anyways, the Braves were down early in this one, 1-0, into the bottom of the 5th. Michael Harris, he ties that up with a solo shot to right center field. That's number 18 of the season for him. Bottom of the 6th, Ronald Acuna Jr., he hits his 20th of the season. The Braves take the lead there, 2-1. And then, listen, it was back-to-back innings. And then the 7th inning, they go back-to-back. Michael Harris, he hits the 2nd homer of the night. That's number 19 of the season for him. The Braves lead this one 3-1. For the Nationals, James Wood, he later homered, and that was number 28 of the season for him. That made it 3-2. But as I mentioned before, Raisel Iglesias, he comes in, he shuts the door. That's a 3-2 victory for the Braves. And then the final game, another close one. This time, the Nationals win this ball game. They end the Braves streak at 10. Listen, it was a 4-3 victory for the Nationals. You got to give them credit. They were able to win this one. But the Braves, at least, listen, they played during that stretch. They played some awesome baseball. It was fun to watch. And they gave us, again, something to cheer for. Hopefully, they can start another one this weekend, maybe get a 3-game sweep. We'll see. It doesn't really matter anyways, but we'll see what happens. But for this one, it was for the Nationals. So Andrew Alvarez, he was starting on the mound. He goes 4 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. He now has a 2.31 ERA. For the Braves, it was Bryce Elder, 7 innings pitched from him, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, no walks, 7 Ks. Not a bad start from Bryce Elder. Not a bad start at all. But he gets the loss in this one. He's now 8-11 with a 5.30 ERA. That is going to be the last start of the season for him. That's the way his season is going to end. Again, 8-11 with a 5.30 ERA. The Braves, they were down 3-0. But then in the bottom of the 6th, Drake Baldwin, hopefully rookie of the year, Drake Baldwin, he hits a homer number 19 of the season for him. That's 79 RBIs for him for the season. Let's see if he can get 20 homers, 80 RBIs. That would be impressive to see from the rookie. Then in the bottom of the 8th, Marcell Ozuna, he hits his 21st of the season. Might be the last homer as a Brave. We'll see if he's able to hit another one during the weekend. That made it 4-2 though. And then in the bottom of the 9th, Eli White, he came into pinch hit. He hit the homer number 10 That made it 4-3, but that was not enough. That's the way the game ends. The Nationals are able to avoid the sweep and win game number 3 of the series. That's all we got for Tomahawk Takes when it comes to the games, but we had some headlines. And I know you guys are probably laughing when you saw this one because last episode, I was talking about this possibly happening. And as soon as I stopped the show, wrapped the show up, started editing, guess what? I got a notification. What does it say? Charlie Moore and Uncle Chuck, he's back with the Atlanta Braves. He's signed via free agency. He was DFA'd by the Detroit Tigers. He cleared waivers and all that good stuff. He becomes a free agent. Anthopoulos, yo, you got one more start with us? You want to end your career with the Braves? Sure, why not? He is able to pick him up. And the only weird thing was Giancarlo Slaughter. He was optioned back down to AAA. He did not get his MLB debut going. He was on the roster. Remember, they brought him up. We were thinking we might get a look at him in the major league level, but that is not what happened. Instead, they optioned him down to AAA. Carson Ragsdale, he was DFA'd to make room for Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton will be making his final start, possibly his final start with the Braves on Sunday, last game of the season. It's going to be against the Pittsburgh Pirates, a team that he was traded to from the Atlanta Braves, if you remember. So kind of goes full circle for Charlie Morton. If this is going to be the way he calls it quits, we'll see. But it's obviously a nice gesture, an honorable nod from the Braves to Charlie Morton if he's able to wrap up his career as a Brave right back where he began. So we're going to keep an eye on that one. Also, I mean, we haven't had any news about Brian Snitker yet. Is he staying? Is he not staying? We thought we might have got some answers before the final series. Maybe I'll get a notification when I wrap this episode up. We'll see. But still no word on Brian Snitker if he's staying or not. So we got to keep an eye on that. And then right before I started recording this one, waiver palooza continues. Anthopoulos going crazy in the waiver wire, bro. This guy does not miss. Anybody, if you're on waivers, bro, you're probably going to be heading down south to Atlanta. This is exactly what he does with Alek Manoah. He was claimed off of waivers from the Toronto Blue Jays. Ozzie Albies, he was moved to the 60-day IL in order to make room for him. Alek Manoah, man, he fell off a cliff. We got to be honest. I don't know exactly what happened to him. I know he fell off. Then he got some surgery, I think, this year or last year. I don't remember. I'm going to be honest. I really don't follow Alek Manoah. You can't blame me. I'm not in the American League. I'm not an American League fan. But listen, you can't lose when you sign someone like Alek Manoah. You saw how good he could be, how good he was. So there's potential there. And it's not like you're, signing in for a whole bunch of money. This is what Anthopoulos does. He goes out there. He sees the potential that you have, the potential that you might still have. He picks you up. You come to Atlanta. You work on something, and you're able to be effective again. Hopefully, that's what happens with Alek Manoah. So we'll see if Alex Anthopoulos hits again with this waiver move that he just made, a new acquisition. Welcome to Atlanta, Alek Manoah. We'll see how long he can last in the organization. But that is all I have, guys. That's all I have for the Atlanta Braves news. Now we're going to head into our next segment where we're going to talk about a little bit of more exciting things around the league.
It's time for the MLB.
It's time for the MLB, where we take a look at the action from around the league. Listen, this is where it gets live. This is where it gets popping. This is what we live for when it comes down to the baseball season. The final weekend of baseball is here, baby. Playoffs are going to start on Tuesday. Tuesday is the first round of playoff baseball. If you got yourself a bye already, congratulations. Rest your players up. Chill with your families a little bit. Get a little bit of work in. Not nothing too crazy. Just chill out because, the last stretch of the season, that postseason stretch, that's where you're going to turn up. So make sure you guys are rested if you got a bye. Anyways, enough about buys. There's only a couple teams with that. Here we go. Milwaukee Brewers at the San Diego Padres. Game number 1. That was on Monday. Freddie Fermin hits a walk-off single to walk it off in the bottom of the 9th, 5-4 victory for the Padres. Guess what that means? They clinch a postseason berth, baby. Pop the bottles. They're celebrating. Manny Machado was feeling it after the game. The Selly was crazy. He was saying something that if you haven't seen it, go watch the interview. He was pumped up. They're ready to go again. That's my championship team. That's my prediction. I'm telling you, bro, they're going to turn up when the playoffs are. I'm telling you right now. And they're going to have to deal with the Chicago Cubs, bro, to be honest. That's the only division series that's already locked up that we know who's going to face who. Only thing we don't know is who is going to be at home, who's going to be on the road. And actually, I might be able to tell you right now. Because as I mentioned, the Chicago Cubs and St. Louis Cardinals game was underway. And, of course, the Cubs won that one 12-1. I believe that clinches home field advantage for them in game number 1. Actually, no, not game number 1. Across the whole series, right? Let me see here. Let me just confirm that. Yeah, because that will make them 90-70 instead of 89-70. The standings have not updated yet on MLB.com. So that clinches the first. That clinches home field advantage for the Cubs against the Padres. That 3-game set. That is already wrapped up. We already know how it's going down. Let me know your predictions, bro. Let me know your predictions. You got the Padres or you got the Cubs? Cubs are at home. I got the Padres. You don't got to ask me because I am team San Diego Padres, baby. Anyways, game number 2 of the series. After celebrating, Padres don't care. They're like, yo, we're going to keep turning up because this might be a potential playoff series. Milwaukee Brewers at the San Diego Padres. They're saying we're not going to take our foot off the gas. We're going to keep it going. They have a 7-0 shutout victory in Tuesday's game number 2. They scored 4 in the bottom of the first, man, and that already set the tone for the rest of the game. Again, 7-0 victory for the Padres. Game number 3, the Brewers won that one 3-1 to avoid the sweep. That's how it goes down. Next, we got the St. Louis Cardinals at the San Francisco Giants. St. Louis, they take 2 out of 3. We ain't going to talk too much about that. Tampa Bay at Baltimore. Baltimore takes 2 out of 3. We ain't going to talk too much about that either. But then this one we got to get into a little bit. Detroit Tigers at the Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians red hot. They came back after being down 15.5 games. Woo! Listen, game number 1 on Tuesday night. Gavin Williams, 12 strikeouts in 6 innings, only 2 runs given up. It was a 5-2 victory for the Cleveland Guardians. Listen, they were down 2-0 in the bottom of the 6th. Cleveland, they scored 3 runs. Listen, the ball never left the infield. Never left the infield. It was a wacky inning. Tarek Skubal was on the mound in this ball game. They scored 3. Listen, they end up winning the game 5-2. Bad moment here in this game, though. David Fry, he got hit in the face, bro. 90, I think it was like 98, 99 fastball right in the face. Fractured. Whole face is fractured, bro. He's going to be out 6 to 8 months. I think I saw surgeries not required. Just heal up, my boy. That was not a pretty look. He was going for the bunt. If you remember, if you haven't seen the play, I mean, it's a bad play. It's a pretty bad play. But anyways, listen. Praise to him, bro. I'm glad he'll be back in 6 to 8 weeks. Hopefully, the Guardians get him a ring during that time frame. Anyways, game number 2, Wednesday night. Listen, they were tied up here now. They were tied up after this game. Previous game, the Cleveland Guardians, they were able to tie up the AL Central. And guess what? They take sole possession of the American League Central after winning 5-1. Jose Ramirez, Valera, they lead the Guardians to a 5-1 victory. But then game 3 last night, Tigers, they said, whoa, hold on. We're not about to have the world's biggest collapse. Not just yet. Not yet. Tigers, they win this one 4-2. They are tied up again in the American League Central. But remember, the Cleveland Guardians, they own the tiebreaker. So if the final day on Sunday, if they're still tied, Guardians, congratulations. You are now the American League Central champions. But we got to see how it's going to go down. Next, we got the Pittsburgh Pirates against the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds chasing down the Mets in the National League wild card, fighting for that final spot. Guess what, though? You're not going to be fighting for it if you lose games. Game 1, they lose this one 4-2. The Pirates, they scored 4 in the top of the second. Cincinnati, they answered back with 2 in the bottom of the second, but that was it. A 4-2 victory for the Pirates. Game number 2, Paul Skeens, he finishes his season ERA under 2. He now has a 1.97 ERA and 32 starts, but this one actually goes into extra innings. The Pirates, they steal this one on the road in 11 innings, 4-3. Reds had a chance to win this ballgame, multiple chances, bro. What are you guys doing? You cannot lose these ballgames, bro. You can't lose these ballgames at this stage of the game. You can't. But that's what they did. That's what they did. Game number 3 to avoid the sweep. Noelvi Marte, he robs a potential game-tying homer in the top of the ninth to hold on to the lead. They end up winning this game 2-1. We're going to see where they're at in the standings. Next, we go to the Miami Marlins at the Philadelphia Phillies. Kyle Schwarber, he hits homer number 54 of the season. But that's not enough. The Marlins, they still went on the road in extra inning 6-5 victory. That was win number 7 in a row for the Marlins. They were freaking hot, bro. Marlins were hot, keeping their playoff chances alive. But R&P to the Marlins. Salute to you guys. Listen, you guys did better than we did. You guys did better than we did. I gave you props, bro. But I'm also going to give you flowers at the same time. The season is over for the Marlins after losing the next 2 games. The Wednesday's game, it was an 11-1 loss for the Marlins. Homer number 55 for Kyle Schwarber. Then he hits homer number 56, a multi-homer game. He's now 2 behind Ryan Howard for the most in the season for the Philadelphia Phillies. Listen, El Mundo Sosa, bro, he had a 3-homer game in this one. The Phillies hit a total of 8 homers in this ball game. Whew. If they do that in the playoffs, that's a scary team. And it's sad that they're not going to have Zach Wheeler, man. But still, they still are a very good ball club. And they show you exactly why. When these guys are mashing homers, it's a problem. They can be very, very scary. Then game number 3, they take that one a 1-0 shutout victory. That's when the Marlins packed up. See you later, fellas. See you later. See you next year. But again, another valiant effort by the Miami Marlins. Next, go to the Chicago Cubs at the New York Yankees. The Yankees trying to chase down the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League East division race. So, listen, I don't know who you guys talk to, bro, but you got a nice, easy schedule here when it comes to facing the Chicago White Sox, bro. You can't have it better than that. I don't know who you paid off. I don't know who you guys know. But to give you the Chicago White Sox at the very end of the season, it's very, very nice. But listen, you still got to take care of business. It doesn't matter if it's the White Sox, if it's the Rockies. You got to take care of business. Down 2-1 in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs. Anthony Volpe, he scores on a wild pitch. That ties up the ballgame. Jose Caballero, he has a walk-off single to clinch a postseason berth for the Yankees. The Bronx is going crazy. That's their 8th in the last 9 years. See you in the playoffs, guys. See you in the playoffs. Then game number 2 on Wednesday night is an 8-1 victory for the Yankees. Aaron Judge, 3-run homer. That's number 50 of the season for him. Listen, he's reached 50 homers in 4 seasons already. 50 homers in 4 seasons. We only saw that from Sammy Sosa, the GOAT, Babe Ruth, and Mark McGwire. So listen, he joins a triplet of boppers when it comes to hitting 50 homers in 4 seasons. And then he said, yo, bro, that's not enough, bro. I'm going to hit another one. He is number 51 of the season, a multi-homer game for Aaron Judge. Again, an 8-1 victory for the Yankees. And this victory tied him up with the Blue Jays in the American League East. And listen, I got to give you credit because I was asked, you think the Yankees have got a shot at the American League East division? I said, nah, bro. Toronto has that all the way. Hands down. You're not going to catch Toronto, bro. Listen, they're tied up now. Listen, and then the final game, Giancarlo Stanton, bases clearing double. That gives them the lead, 5-3 win for the Yankees, and they now have a 5-game win streak. Are they going to make it 8? Are they going to make it 7? Are they going to make it 6? You have to keep an eye on this weekend's series against who the heck do they have? I think they got the Baltimore Orioles. I think they have the Baltimore Orioles. I remember my notes correctly. But anyways, we go to the team that they were chasing now, and a team that's chasing them. Boston Red Sox at the Toronto Blue Jays. The Boston Red Sox, they take 2 out of 3 against the Blue Jays. It was a 4-1 victory in game number 1. It was tied 1-1 on top of the 6th. Boston, they scored 3 runs to take the lead. That was a ball game. Game number 2, they win that one 7-1. Game number 3, to avoid the sweep, the Blue Jays, they win this one 6-1. Dalton Varsho, grand slam, grand salami time. And now, listen, if they didn't win that game, the Yankees would have been in first place. Sole possession of first place. Varsho hits a grand slam. They remain tied with the Yankees atop the AL East. Next, we got the New York Mets at the Chicago Cubs. Mets on the road. They were down 6-1. David Peterson, he was chased out. He only won an inning and a third this ball game. But they scored 5 on the top of the 5th. Brandon Nimmo with a big 3-run game-tying homer. I tied it up 7. I think it tied it up 6-6. Then they went up 7-6, and the Cubs tied it up 7-7. It was a back-and-forth game. This is a crazy back-and-forth game. Top of the 8th, though, Francisco Alvarez. Big clutch 2-run homer. That makes it 9-7. Edwin Diaz, he comes in. 2 innings saved for the guy. Strikes out 5 of the 6 batters he faces. Of the 6 outs he records, He gets a save in this one. And listen, this might be another potential playoff series. So it's really good to see. I mean, we might be getting a preview here. Second game of the series, though, the Mets, they lose. Cubs win this one 10-3. PCA, he scores from second on a wild pitch. Yes, you heard that right. He scored from second on the wild pitch. If you haven't seen the video, MLB.com. Go to the videos, yada, yada, yada. It'll pop up. But then, game number 3, rubber matchup. Who's going to win this one? Are the Mets still going to be holding on to that final spot of the wild card? Yes, they do, because Francisco Lindor, he hits a 3-run homer. Nolan McLean, 5 1/3, gave up 5 runs, but he got some support when it comes to the Mets offense. He had 11 strikeouts in this one. 8-5 victory for the Mets. Mets still holding on to that final wild card spot. We're going to see why just shortly when we get to the standings. Next, we got the Minnesota Twins at the Texas Rangers. Twins, they would take 2 out of 3. Kansas City Royals at the Los Angeles Angels. Kansas City, congratulations, you took 2 out of 3 in garbage time. But then we go to another team that's trying to get that spot in the wild card league. Arizona Diamondbacks, they were hosting the Dodgers at home, of course. They were down 4-3, but in the bottom of the 9th, Geraldo Perdomo, he hits a walk-off single, keeping the Diamondbacks just a game back of the Mets, but that was on Tuesday's game. Listen, they lost the next game in extra innings, a close one. They had a chance to be able to be tied up with the Mets, but they lose that one again, 5-4 in 11 innings. And then game number 3, the rubber matchup, the Dodgers, led by Shohei Ohtani. He hits in the homer number 54 of the season. They clinched the NL West after winning 8-0. That's their 4th straight NL West title. That's their 12th in the last 13 seasons. Congratulations. As much as I hate to say it, congratulations to Dodgers fans and the Los Angeles Dodgers. 12-13 in the last 13 years. Kind of Braves-like, kind of 90s Braves-like. But listen, I got to be honest. You guys already surpassed that 90s Braves dynasty after winning that second championship last year. Next, we got the Colorado Rockies at the Seattle Mariners. The Seattle Mariners, they bring out the brooms. They're freaking hot. They've won 7 in a row. They were down 3-1 in the bottom of the 8th, but bases clearing, go-ahead double with the bases loaded was hit. 4-3. That was Naylor, by the way. That made it 4-3. Seattle, Anderson, I was going to say Rolly Munoz on the Braves. No, Andres Munoz, he comes in, he gets save number 38. Mariners, they clinch a playoff berth after getting this 4-3 victory. Game number 2, Kyle Raleigh, big dumper. Big dumper. He hits homer number 59 of the season. And he says, bro, I'm going to hit number 60. Why not? This is the same night that Aaron Judge had that multi-homer game. Kyle Raleigh, he says, I could do it too. Number 60 of the season. He joins, of course, Aaron Judge, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Babe Ruth, and Roger Maris. Only players in history that have hit 60 homers in a season. This clinches the American League West for the Mariners. Congratulations to you guys. First clinch of the AL West title since 2001. It's been 24 years. It's been 24 years. It's been 24 years. Mariners fans are saying, looking like Rose from Titanic, holding on to that trident. But they were able to do it. Then game number 3, they're able to win this one 6-2. That extends their winning streak to 7 games in a row. Hopefully they can keep that going into the playoffs. And then the final series, the Houston Astros at the Athletics. Athletics, they take 2 out of 3 from the hopeful playoff Houston Astros. They take game number 1, 5-1 victory for the Athletics, 6-0 shutout. That gave the Astros a 5-game losing streak. But then Framber Valdez, 10 strikeouts. Christian Walker hitting homer number 24. That leads the Astros to an 11-5 victory in the final game of the series to avoid the sweep. Now you're asking me, who the heck is playing, bro? Who's playing this week? Who should I keep an eye on, Vic? I got you, bro. This is the chop seat. This is what we do. St. Louis Cardinals at the Chicago Cubs. That's already underway. I mentioned that's already wrapped up. PCA, he joins the 30-30 club. Cubs, they clinched home field advantage against the San Diego Padres. So, I mean, you could keep an eye on this one if you want. If you're a Cubs or St. Louis, well, not St. Louis, you're not going to keep an eye on it. But if you're a Cubs fan, want to make sure none of your guys gets hurt, keep an eye on the game if you want. Or if you're doing some scouting for the Padres, you're a Padres fan, you're going to do a little scouting, go ahead and keep an eye on this one. Next, we got the Minnesota Twins at the Philadelphia Phillies. You can keep an eye on that if you're a Phillies fan. Chicago White Sox at the Washington Nationals. Baltimore Orioles at the New York Yankees. And Tampa Bay Rays at the Toronto Blue Jays. Keep an eye on those 2 series. Battle for the American League East is on their way. Who's going to play spoiler the best? Is it going to be the Orioles? Is it going to be the Tampa Bay Rays? Keep an eye on that. Detroit Tigers at the Boston Red Sox. Are the Detroit Tigers going to pull off the worst collapse in history? Keep an eye on that series if you want to find out. Texas Rangers at the Cleveland Guardians. Are the Guardians going to come make one of the biggest comebacks in history? Keep an eye on that. New York Mets at the Miami Marlins. The Marlins have moved all of their good starters. They pushed them back in order to have them ready for this series against the Mets. They are trying to play spoiler, bro. I hate the Marlins because the Marlins love doing that. Bro, how about you freaking compete? How about you try to win a championship again? Stop being such a troll in the National League East. You guys always do that. Try to win the whole darn thing instead of just, we're going to be spoilers. That's all you guys got to cheer for. Anyways, got some trolls for moving pushing the starters back. I think it was Eduardo Cabrera, Sandy Alcantara, Eury Perez, I think, to be able to face up at the New York Mets. And listen, even though I saw all that, I hope you guys are able to pull it off because I cannot wait to troll New York Mets fans if they do end up collapsing. Next, we got the Pittsburgh Pirates at the Atlanta Braves, a series of 2 scrub teams. We're going to look at that shortly in the Braves forecast. We got the Houston Astros at the Los Angeles Angels. Astros trying to stay in the wild card fight. We're going to see if they're able to do it. Arizona Diamondbacks at the San Diego Padres. Keep an eye on the Diamondbacks. If they lose tonight and the Mets win, sayonara, baby. See you later. Keep an eye on that series. Los Angeles Dodgers at the Seattle Mariners. Is that a potential World Series matchup? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Dodgers, Mariners, World Series 2025. Big Dumper, Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Josh Naylor, Munoz, Freddie Freeman. Who am I missing? Suarez, Eugenio, Gino. Yasiel Puig. Just kidding. Anyways, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? And then we got 2 scrub series. I'll just mention it because they are part of the major leagues. Kansas City Royals at the Athletics, Colorado Rockies at the San Francisco Giants. I'll send you guys some flowers along with my Braves. But listen, that is... Oh, and listen, I forgot. Cincinnati Reds at the Milwaukee Brewers. One more win for the Brewers. That clinches home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs for them. So keep an eye on that one when it comes to the Brewers. Listen, what do we have for news around the league? We got Netflix. Netflix has signed a 3-year deal with MLB. They're going to have opening night next year. They're going to have the home run derby. They're going to have a few of those special games, a few of the dreams, the MLB Speedway. Let me know how you feel about that, to be honest. I could care less. I could care less about that. I really could care less, whatever. As long as I can watch the games, I don't care. If I can watch the games, especially if I'm outside and I got to watch it on my phone, I could get Netflix on my phone. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't bother me. That's cool. That's fine. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about that. The ABS system in 2026, it's going to be live, baby. It's going to be live. 2 challenges per team. But I'm thinking about this. How about you make it a little bit more challenging? How about you limit 1 challenge for each half? For example, the first or the 5th inning, you got 1 challenge. And if you lose that one, you're going to have to wait until after the 5th inning, the 6th through the 6th inning, to use your other challenge. You get what I'm saying? How about we do it like that? Limit the amount of times you can use this. For example, again, first inning through the 5th inning, you have 1 challenge available. If you challenge correctly, you keep it. You can keep it going. If you lose that challenge, let's say you challenge something in the 2nd inning, you have bases loaded, 2nd inning, 2 outs, 3-2 pitch, you challenge it, but you end up losing the challenge. Now you don't have any more challenges until after the 5th inning. 6th through 9th inning, you have another challenge, and the same thing happens. If you lose that, let's say you challenge something in the 8th inning, bases loaded, you're wrong, and you lose the challenge. Listen, and if you have a situation in the bottom of the 9th where you wish you had that challenge, that's where the strategy comes in, I guess. What do you guys think about that? Let me know how you guys feel about the ABS system in general, and how you feel about that little rule that I just threw out there. Let me know what you guys think, man. I'm trying to just change it up a little bit. But listen, you know what else I think? We got to make these foul balls and all these. Put some cameras down the line, please. Put some cameras down the line. It's 2025, bro. We should be able to review if a ball is fair or foul. You know those that almost got the line? We got to be able to review those. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about those calls as well. And then the final thing that we have, the standings. Let's look at the standings. Here we go, baby. Here we go. National League East, that's wrapped up by your Philadelphia Phillies. National League Central, that's wrapped up. 96 and 63 are the Brewers. Again, 1 more win locks them up, having a home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs. Cubs, 89 and 70. That's already wrapped up, though, so I'm not even going to say that. Dodgers at the San Diego Padres. No, excuse me. The Dodgers already wrapped that up. What am I talking about? So all the National League divisions are wrapped up. Philly, Brewers, and Dodgers. Then we go to the American League East. This is where it gets good. Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees are tied up 91 and 68 apiece. Keep an eye on those 2 teams. The AL Central, Cleveland Guardians at the Detroit. Why I keep saying at the Detroit Tigers? And the Detroit Tigers, they're tied up at 86 and 73. And the Seattle Mariners have already wrapped up the American League West. Here we go with the playoff. Excuse me, not the playoff picture, but the wild card. New York Mets holding on to that final spot, 82 and 77. The Cincinnati Reds, 81 and 78. 1 game back. Arizona Diamondbacks trying to stay alive, 80 and 79. They are 2 games back of the Mets. So listen, the New York Mets win tonight. The Diamondbacks lost tonight. Sayonara, Arizona. I will see you later next year. But if they're listen, a Mets loss and a Diamondbacks win, that puts the Diamondbacks at 1 game back. And I think they own the tiebreaker against the Mets. If I'm not mistaken, I think it goes to intra-division because they were tied up 3-3 the season series. Diamondbacks had a better record against the West. Or I think one more win clinches that against the West. But anyways, it's going to be tough for them to come back, man. For the Mets got to drop 2 games, and they got to win 2 games to at least be in the picture. So we'll see. The guys that have a realistic chance here is the Cincinnati Reds. Again, Diamondbacks, they're not mathematically out, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. You got to win. You got to win out. This whole weekend, you got to win out, bro. There's nothing else for me to say. You got to win out. Anyways, going to the American League. Here we go. Blue Jays, they're in the division. They'll be the division winners as of right now. You got the Mariners already clinched. You got the Guardians winning the division as of right now due to tiebreakers. Then you would have the Yankees getting the first spot in the wild card. You got the Boston Red Sox spot number 2. You got the Detroit Tigers a game behind them, 86 and 73. And then you got Houston Astros 1 game behind the final spot, the Detroit Tigers. So that is going to be a good mix to see. But listen, this is what you guys want to hear. The playoff picture, the postseason picture. If the season ended right now, just so you can have an idea, this is what's going to happen. You ready? You got in the National League, the Brewers and the Phillies, they got to bye. Wild card series, you get the New York Mets at the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yep, that's what you got. And then you got the San Diego Padres at the Chicago Cubs. Those are going to be really, really good. And then in the American Leagues, we're going to get a Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees first round series. Oh, man, I'm thinking about my boy Mike right now. Mike, I know he hates hearing that. Boston Red Sox at the New York Yankees. You just got to have faith, man. You just got to have faith. Then we would have the Detroit Tigers at the Cleveland Guardians. But listen, we just had that. We would get it again. And, of course, we would have the Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners having the first round bye. So, listen, that is what we have to look forward to over the weekend. Questions here. Who is winning the American League East? Remember, the Toronto Blue Jays, they hold the tiebreaker against the Yankees. Is it going to be the Blue Jays or the Yankees winning the American League East? Let me know in the comments, bro. I'm curious to know what you guys are thinking. The American League Central, throw that in there. Is it going to be Guardians? Is it going to be Tigers? Let me know. Let me know right now. And then the final National League wild card spot, the Mets. They're 1 game ahead of the Cincinnati Reds. They're 2 games ahead of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Who is going to take that final National League wild card spot? Are the Mets going to hold on? Is it going to be LOL Mets again? I think they hold on. But let me know in the comments, what are you thinking that's going to happen with those spots? Listen, thank you guys for staying with me throughout this entire rundown of the MLB. That's all we got for the MLB. I'm over here almost out of breath. An exciting episode. I know you can hear it in my voice. Listen, now let's just head into our next and final segment of the night.
It's time for your Braves forecast.
It's time for the Braves forecast, where we take a look at the upcoming Braves series. This is the final series of the season for the Atlanta Braves. They're ending it off at home. The Pittsburgh Pirates, the 69-90 Pittsburgh Pirates, are coming into town facing the red-hot 75-84 Atlanta Braves in Game 1 at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. It's going to be Mitch Keller on the mound for the Pirates. He's 6-15 with a 4.22 ERA, going up against Joey Wentz, who's 5-6 with a 5.46 ERA. Game 2, again, 7:15 p.m. start time. Bubba Chandler going up against Spencer Strider. Chandler's 3-1 with a 4.56 ERA. Spencer Strider, 7-13 with a 4.45 ERA. Game number 3, the final game of the season. It makes me sad to say that, man. Why? No playoff baseball for the Braves. 3:15 p.m. start time. Joan Oviedo's 2-0 with a 3.57 ERA. He'll be starting for the Pirates. Uncle Chuck, Charlie Morton, World Series champion. Charlie Morton, 2021 legend. He's going to be on the mound making his possibly his final start with the Atlanta Braves. He's now 9-11 with a 5.89 ERA. Hopefully, he's able to have a nice, great start to end off his career. Full circle moment where he first started his career with the Braves, going up against the team he was traded to, the Pittsburgh Pirates. You can't have a better ending than that, except for ending it with a championship ring. Maybe he'll be back next year. Maybe he has one more in him. We'll see. We'll see. But listen, this is probably actually it is the final Braves forecast segment for the year. This is it. We won't have any more series to look forward to when it comes to the Atlanta Braves. So this is going to be most likely the final Braves forecast of the season, unless I will do some reconfiguration where, I don't know. I got to think about what I'm doing going forward once the Braves season is done. I'm definitely going to still keep having shows covering the playoff games. Maybe next week before the playoffs, we'll do a summary segment of the Braves season, maybe some league leaders for the teams, not league leaders, but team leaders. For the we could do league leaders too. It's going to be the conclusion of the regular season, so we could do that all across the MLB. We can do some team leader stats for the Atlanta Braves. We could talk favorite moments for this Brave season. Not that there were too many moments, but we could talk about that, and we'll see what else we get into. But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in to the Chop Seat, especially this debut season that we had. It was something that just started out of the blue. Started in May. This is probably why the Braves started collapsing. Actually, no, it collapsed way before that, so we can't really blame it fully on the Chop Seat. But listen, I appreciate the support. Continue to share the show. Hopefully, you guys keep listening during the playoffs. And, man, we're going to keep getting some good products, man. We're going to keep getting that good product, good baseball. Definitely in the playoffs, you know, everything turns up when it comes playoff time. Curious to know what you guys are thinking, who's winning the World Series, who's winning at least the first round. You don't got to go as far as the World Series, but let me know who you think is winning at least the first round. Let me know your playoff predictions, man. That's what I want to just say. Let me know your playoff predictions come Tuesday. Remember, we're going to get the first series on the road, on the go. So anyways, that's all we got for the Chop Seat. I got to go do something real quick. So thank you guys for tuning in. You already know, Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram. Instagram's at the Chop Seat Pod, TikTok, and everything else is YouTube also is at the Chop Seat. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the Chop